this guy did to deserve having the Chase Manhattan Bank named after him. But I'd be willing to bet that when I get around to doing the research in it, that it'll turn up that Chase was involved in the assassination of Lincoln. The point is that I'm trying to get to is that the bankers have been behind all of this stuff. I was on the program a little while ago talking about the Holocaust. The evidence is just overwhelming that the bankers were behind the Holocaust, that Hitler was a stooge. And so we could go off in 100 different directions and take any particular outrageous crime in the last 100 years and be able to show that the bankers were very, very highly involved in it. And I'm just...
there was. I have to jump in there before you go off in a different direction. Though, this issue about John Wilkes Booth and possible connection to the banks. I've heard maybe 10 years ago a rumor bantering about that he was related to the Rothschild family. Is there any truth to that?
I have no idea, but it doesn't matter because as with September 11th, suppose there were hijackers, right? Suppose that the pilots on the plane or whoever, it doesn't matter to me how the planes were taken over. It doesn't matter to me if there were people on the plane who were participating in this thing. What matters to me is that the defenses stood down.
Yes.
So, I mean, it didn't have to be John Wilkes Booth. There were easily 1,000 people working for the Confederacy who would have happily walked up to Lincoln and shot him in the head if they could have. Mm-hmm. The issue isn't which individual was selected to do it. The issue is how did the defenses stand down? How is that possible under the circumstances? And how is it that that's never been an issue and that there was never an investigation of it and that no one was ever court-martialed or punished or prosecuted?
Well, that's the question, is that, we have the same type of, they say history repeats itself. Those who forget their history are destined to repeat it. Seems that what you're pointing out here is the same kind of a situation that we had during September 11th. And we'll get back to the September 11th issue when we get back from this break. We're going to take a 4-minute break. We're talking today with John Hanke, who's a researcher, who's been digging into the Robert Kennedy Jr. assassination, JFK's assassination, and the 9/11 attacks. Stay with us. We'll be back in 4 minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Friday edition of the Power Hour. Coming up on 25 minutes past the hour, whatever hour you're sitting in. This is Dave and Joyce, and we're talking today with John Hanke, who's been putting together a number of different video documentaries focusing primarily on the Kennedy assassinations, both John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy Jr., but has supplemented some of the information by producing a short video, or would you call that a vignette? What do you call a short 16 or 17-minute video documentary, John? What do you call that? Well, what I've made it to be was an organizing tool, right?
Okay. Like I was saying, I'm the fifth of 6 kids. I'm used to sitting around seeing stuff happen and say, well, what can I do? And so it struck me that one of the problems that I encounter, which I assume is the same problem that other people encounter, is getting people to sit down and watch a 2-hour or 3-hour DVD. It's very, very, very difficult to demand that sort of attention from most people. They're busy. They have one thing and another going on. And I wanted to make something. I'm the manager of an apartment building, and so I know about 50 people on a conversational level, and I have conversations with them. I don't really know very many of them very, very well, but I wanted to have something that I could take to them and say, look, you have 15 minutes. If it's the most important thing in the world, you could take 15 minutes for this, couldn't you? I mean, you know me. You know me enough for me to ask you this, right? I mean, you don't know me enough for me to ask you to give up 2 hours, but you know me enough for me to ask you to give up 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Here, take this DVD and watch it, and when it blows the top of your head off and you want to know what else to do, come see me, and I have some other videos, right? I have Dave Von Kleist's video, I have Sophia's video, I have some Professor Jones's video, I have some other stuff. Once you get the door open so that they're burning to know more, then, right, you've established this toehold, right? You've established the place that you can pry it open and get to work and do other things with these people. So that's what I was trying to do, was to fill the need, right, to create something that wasn't already out there, that would do something that needed to be done that wasn't being done, right, to put something into people's hands that they could hand to people that they know a little bit and say, look, you know me well enough. Give me 15 minutes, watch this thing, and let me know what you think.
Well, let me ask you, what is the most glaring inconsistency of the official story, or the most important piece of evidence that pushed you over the edge, that made you want to make this video? What is it about the official story that screams that the whole thing is a lie?
Well, on September 12th, when I got up and went to school that day and had to talk to my students and had to talk to my colleagues about what had happened the day before, the thing that hit me was the attack on the Pentagon. And, set aside all of the issues about what, in fact, had happened at the Pentagon, the notion that 50 minutes after the first tower was hit, and everybody in the country knew that we were under terrorist attack, 50 minutes, the most highly defended place on the face of the earth was able to be hit by, not by a missile, which would have been, missiles go 6,000 miles an hour. Well, 757s at top speed go 600 miles an hour, and you can't fly 600 miles an hour at ground level. The air's too thick. It couldn't have been going more than about 350 miles an hour, and it managed to plow into the Pentagon, and there was no... Andrews Air Force Base is... And, I was able to tell this to my students the next day. Andrews Air Force Base is, I think, 12 miles away, and the jet fighters, I think, go about 2,000 miles an hour. To go 12 miles and 2,000 miles an hour, I believe the math was 8 seconds. They had 50 minutes, and they couldn't get jets there in the 8 seconds that it would have taken them.
Well, that indicates to me, that anybody that has functioning gray matter strategically placed between their ears should be able to sit down and look at that situation and say, wait a second, we have this thing called the Pentagon filled with officers that are supposed to be entrusted with the responsibility of defending our country, and this happened 50 minutes after the first strike. Every single one of them should be fired, drummed out of the military, and possibly challenged to even have a job flipping hamburgers at the local McD's, Mickey D's. The bottom line here is that obviously incompetence reigns supreme and no evil deed goes unrewarded. We're talking with John Hanke. We'll be back in just about 3 minutes, and let's open the phone lines. 1-800-259-9231. Yeah, 9231 if you want to ask a question. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Must have information, because so many people have been shielded from this for years. And John Hanke, I applaud your tenacity and the work that you've done, the research, and the work that you put together. These DVDs blew me away. A lot of this I knew, but some of it I didn't know, and that's what was so mind-blowing, is that you came up with some stuff, a lot of stuff, that a lot of folks are just not aware of. Okay, John, we were talking... Oh, by the way, let's make sure that everybody knows the phone lines are open. 1-800-259-9231 if you'd like to ask John a question. Belly on up to the telephone bar. Okay, before we went off to the break, and again, I apologize for interrupting, I was asking you what the most glaring piece of information that challenges the official story of September 11th was, and we were talking about the stand-down issue with the Pentagon, and that was the number one thing. What is the, as far as evidence is concerned, photographic or otherwise, what is the one key piece of evidence that you see as, shall we say, the snowball that can be thrown down the top of the mountain that'll gather, when you haul this towards your family members and people that you work with that don't believe you?
Well, I thought the most astonishing piece of photographic evidence that I've seen was your video in plain